Welcome home. In this podcast, we venture into what it means to be a leader in this new world. Human, flawed but working on things, and forever changed by using our intuition to guide us. I'm Adelina East, founder of Transformational Healing and mentor to those running soul-based businesses. Join me to receive transformational healing, tips to dive more deeply into your unique spiritual gifts, and to hear great conversations with other entrepreneurs in spirit. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Cosmic Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Adelina East. I am an EMDR therapist. I also use internal family systems and my own modality of transformational healing, encompassing neuroscience and spirituality, to lead people to heal themselves. I think we are all capable of healing ourselves. We just need the right guide. In today's session, I'm going to start by just thanking you so much for making this podcast what it is. We are the little podcast that could. We started during the pandemic, and I've continued this podcast in the 4 years since then. And I am so excited every week when I get that email from GoodPod saying that we are still on the top 50 of their charts. Thank you so much for doing that for us. Thank you so much for continuing to listen and send me your DMs, write your reviews on whatever podcast app you use. All of that helps us so much to continue to provide this podcast for you free of charge. So thank you for making all of this available to everybody. I feel like it's really important. I feel like it's really important that people know there's more than just talk therapy out there to help them heal. And I so appreciate you for helping me get that message out. Talk therapy is not the end goal, of course. Therapy at the end, or healing at the end, is knowing that we have multiple resources we can use to help ourselves heal. There is a body, there is a mind, there is a spirit, and all are equally important. So I just really thank you all for helping us get that message out. There is a body, there is a mind, there is a spirit. All are equally important. Today, we are going to talk about breaking a habit. So many of you have sent me DMs about this over the last few weeks. I know that, the whole New Year's resolution thing happens. I get it. I personally do not partake in that, and I will tell you why. We have a lot of research and data proving that most people give up on their New Year's resolutions by the end of January. So I think it's better to just start trying to break a habit when you can. So for example, when dealing with extreme grief, someone very, very close to you just passed, maybe it's not the best time to start working on breaking a habit. Or you are under unusual levels of stress. Like even if you're normally a stressed person, you have a lot going on, you're under unusual levels of stress, that might also not be the best time to start trying to break a habit. But if you feel like you have the fortitude to be so irritated by the habit, then you probably have the fortitude to try to break it. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. I have found in my 15 years of clinical practice that there are a few reasons that habits start. One of the most intense reasons is trauma. And yes, I'm a trauma therapist. I'm a trauma specialist. I see the trauma and the impact of the trauma in almost everything. But truly the thing is, if a habit begins as a reaction to something traumatic, it is just that little bit harder to break. In order to break it, you need to first work on the trauma for you to be able to let it go. And then it's mostly about reprogramming your brain. It's about the neuroscience of how habits get formed and how habits get broken. So we're going to go through all of that today. We're going to talk more about what I've seen in my clinical practice. We're going to talk more about the research. And most importantly, we're going to have a transformational healing session for you to at least break the trauma that may be associated with that habit that you want to let go of. So stay tuned right here. We'll be right back. Do you ever feel like you're stuck and you're not quite sure what to do next? Do you ever feel like maybe the best times of your life might be behind you and you're not sure where to go from here? I completely understand. I work with a lot of people in the same situation. If you are going through this sort of life transition time, I'm here to help. I find that with a lot of my clients, the life transition time overlaps with a lot of other things: parents aging, raising children, switching careers, relationship changes, all of those kinds of things. I believe in the ability of all of us to transition through these things with ease and with grace if you have the right guide. I am so happy to work with you through any and all of these things. I find that a lot of trauma healing can happen during this time because we start to look at how that has impacted our lives so far. So, if you're starting to notice yourself going through changes, wanting to see more change in your life, and wanting to let go of these older traumas, check out my website. We're going to include the link below. You can book just a single session with me to start if that feels right for you, either using EMDR or internal family systems or IFS therapy, also called parts work. Or you can book a transformational healing session, my own modality, to try to work through whatever's going on a spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical level all at the same time. I really recommend this. I find it's the fastest way through. But of course, this is up to you, and I have lots of different options to suit every need. I would love to walk with you through this transition time. I hope to hear from you soon. Hey, everybody, welcome back. So let's talk about the trauma response that starts off a lot of habits. I'm going to give you an example from my own life because I think it's the most helpful way to illustrate this. So I bite my nails. I have bitten my nails since I was a tiny child. It is so very annoying to me. It's not good for health reasons, but it also is something that just it makes me look like a different person than I am. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I generally am like a pretty together person. Like, I pay my bills on time, I keep my appointments, I do the things that I say I'm going to do to other people in as much as I can with my health issues. But the nail biting seems as though it's not really me anymore. And I would really like to stop. The challenge, of course, is the same challenge that you all have, which is that it's rooted in trauma. And then there are layers and layers of neural networks that tell me to do it because I've done it for so long. So the trauma behind it was just being a kid, noticing certain dysfunction that was around me, feeling really scared and really nervous about that dysfunction. And I observed other people in my environment biting their nails as a means of stress reduction. And I tried it and it worked. So, of course, that sets up my neural networks to be like, oh, we're stressed? Great. We're going to bite our nails. That's how we're going to deal with the stress. Am I a grown person who knows that going for a walk outside, sitting in the sunshine, journaling, talking to a friend, cooking myself a nice meal, drinking water would be more helpful? Yep. I know all that stuff. And yet, my go to is still to bite my nails. I do it responsibly. I wash my hands really well first to make sure that I'm not putting germs into my mouth. But, it's a bad habit that I really want to break. So, method one is to work through the trauma that brought you to the habit. So I'm going to ask you to think of a habit that you have that you want to break, that you really want to let go of. I'm also going to ask you to think of a habit that you want to replace it with. So most people's go tos over my years of practice have been things like drink more water, exercise, um, eat healthier, uh, call this friend that I always forget to call, those types of things. So let's keep it simple. We're not going to go into, the deepest trauma of your entire life, but we do want to try to root out that older trauma and put a new habit in that is more beneficial for you as a human being. So, the way we're going to do that is by using my modality, transformational healing. Transformational healing combines neuroscience and spirituality. It's something that I created when I was completely laid up, could not walk, could not move. I have a multiple level of disabilities, but I am able to walk and move, thankfully. And I firmly believe that even if you are in a place that feels like you'll never get out of, I think there are different ways to heal from those things. I'm not saying full recovery. I certainly haven't had full recovery. I still have health issues, but I am able to walk, which I think is a pretty amazing thing. And I think a part of being able to walk is due to me practicing transformational healing so often. So, I'm going to recommend that you get into a place where you can do this transformational healing process. There's nothing whatsoever to be afraid of. I will walk you through every step. After we're done, I will recommend that you use this transformational healing process 5 or 6 more times to keep trying to break that habit and to keep trying to replace that habit with something new. If you find that this is not working for you, what I will recommend is that you book a private session with me so that we can drill down a little bit deeper and see what the root of that trauma is. When this doesn't work for folks, the reason is usually that the trauma is deeper than what you're immediately going to. And sometimes it does take a therapist to help you get to that other level, that lower level of where the trauma really started. And that's okay. There's no shame in that. That's what I'm here for. So, let's start with just bringing to mind that trauma that got you going on this habit that you want to break. And now we're just going to close our eyes and take some deep breaths here. And just imagine yourself in your very favorite place in nature, whatever that looks like for you today, whether it's a beach or a forest or something different. Just imagine yourself there and take in a few things around you that you can see. So maybe there's some sand or water. Maybe there's some trees or some mountains, whatever feels good to you. And now feel as though you have roots dropping out of your feet and connecting into the center of the earth here. You can almost imagine it as roots dropping out of your feet and wrapping around the core of the earth. And now take in some of the sounds that surround you. If there are any smells, take in the smells of this beautiful place in nature. And now just softly and gently bring your mind, body, and spirit up through the sky, up through the clouds, up through the different layers of the universe, the reds and oranges, yellows, greens, blues, pinks, and purples. And now imagine yourself floating through the stars, through the sky. And now just imagine yourself cozying up on a cloud or laying down on a beam of light. We invite in all of our guides, all spirit guides, source energy, any other benevolent forms out there that want to help us do this work today. And we set our intention on letting go of this habit and of creating a new habit today. And so now I'm going to ask you to imagine the place where this trauma happened to you. We're not going to relive the trauma. That's certainly not what this is. Just imagine the place where the trauma took place. And instead of seeing the trauma happen again, let's rewrite it into something that's super helpful. So, for example, with my nail biting example, I would put myself in my childhood home and I would imagine things being super peaceful and easy. And so I encourage you to rewrite in whatever way makes sense for you. If there are specific people that you want to have there saying reassuring, wonderful things to you, have them there. Listen to them saying wonderful, reassuring things. If there's no way for you to see a new memory there, take yourself out. Go to a different place. Go to a room that's just all painted your favorite color and do the rewriting of the memory there. But what you are aiming to feel as you rewrite this older memory is empowered, loved, respected, seen. And so bring in whatever people or pets or things that you need into this place to make you feel that. So, for example, you could have someone who was involved in this trauma tell you how much they love you, how sorry they are, how they wish they could have done it in this new way that you're imagining right now. See them saying those things to you, see them helping you to see this thing in a new way. Instead of an argument, imagine there just being peace between you. Imagine hearing how wonderful you are. Imagine hearing all of your good qualities. Imagine feeling that feeling of being completely relaxed with someone. And now, instead of seeing yourself engaging in that habit that you want to let go of, imagine seeing yourself doing something different that makes a lot of sense for you: drinking water, making a good meal, exercising, something that feels better than what you had. See yourself doing that thing instead. And now we're just going to use some tones. This is based on Porges polyvagal work, which helps us heal ourselves using the sound of our own voice. This process also stimulates your vagus nerve, which is a really important part of healing in your body. It's your fifth cranial nerve, it's in charge of so much. And when we stimulate that vagus nerve, we lead our body to heal in a different way. And so I'm going to encourage you to hum these tones with me, even if you feel silly, even if it feels like a weird thing you've never done before. I'm going to ask you to suspend disbelief and try something new. We're also going to use our thumbs and fingers to create different hand motions that connect to certain parts of our brain to help us do this work and feel this healing more deeply. So connect your first finger to your thumb on both hands. You can see me doing it if you're here watching on YouTube. If not, you can head over to YouTube and see me doing so. But put your first finger together with your thumb. It almost looks like the everything's okay symbol. And hum these tones with us, and you will hear the tones cut out. This is a recording issue that we can't seem to figure out. Even when you hear the tone cut out, keep humming that same tone until I get on to the next one. It doesn't matter if your voice matches mine exactly, it's about the intention. And so hum this tone with me, with your first finger and your thumb pressed together. Mm. 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 Connect your middle finger with your thumb on both hands. You're watching me on YouTube, you can see me doing it. Otherwise, just press your middle finger together with your thumb and hum these tones with me. Mm. 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 And now connect your ring finger and your pinky finger with your thumb on both hands so that your pointer finger and middle finger are just basically pointing straight up. You have your ring finger and pinky finger connecting to your thumb. And tone with us. Mm. 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 Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and relax your hands. And just softly and gently bring your mind, body, and spirit out of this beautiful place of iridescent light. Imagine yourself moving down through the different layers of the universe and all the way back down through the purples and pinks, blues, greens, yellows, oranges, and reds, and grounding your feet back into your very favorite place in nature, whatever that looks like for you. And pull the healing energy of this place up your feet, up your legs, all the way back up through your mind, body, and spirit, and allow this new healing energy to flow out of the crown of your head, filling in your aura, 4 feet in every direction. And take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and open your eyes. This was a mini transformational healing session. I always ask people to try to do this 5 or 6 more times. Our brains really like repetition, and it can help you get a big jump on breaking this habit. There are other tools in my toolbox. If you want to make use of them, you can always book a session with me online. You'll see lots of different types of sessions there. Just book one. We'll figure it out when we're on Zoom together. I love working with people one-on-one. So if you find that this is too many for you, if you need some actual feedback from me as a therapist, or if you want some feedback on how to really break this habit and replace it with a new one and have that be a longer term process for you, you can always book a session with me. Otherwise, if this works for you completely, yay, go about your life. I'm so excited for you. I've been really happy to see all of you these past few weeks. We had a wonderful winter solstice event, and I was so happy to see so many of you there. My love for you today. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will chat with you soon.
Thank you so much for listening to these important conversations about cosmic leadership and the changing needs of our times. If you enjoyed this conversation, please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also share it with a friend. Join our crew at Adelina East on Instagram or at Adelina East Healing on Facebook. With all the love from every dimension, Adelina.